Good morning, everyone. We have an active couple of days of severe weather with a moderate risk issued for parts of Kansas today. A pretty big deal. It's going to be a wind machine, is what we refer to in the biz. While there is a tornado risk, this is just one of those mesoscale convective systems that's going to develop with potentially very, very strong winds. Let's take a look, first of all, at this visible satellite loop. Pretty active. You can see the convective tops here in parts of Tennessee and down into Mississippi. Those are not particularly severe. This is leftover activity from last night. You can see the billowing of the clouds when these updrafts get so vigorous that they overshoot the tops of the anvils and create shadows. But this is the area right here that we're watching for later today, not because of what's going on right now necessarily, although that is part of the forecast, but what's coming up. Let's take a look at that radar loop. Here's the activity from today, moving on through, and then tonight's activity forms a line right here, several lines of severe storms that had that bowing echo characteristic. Southwest Missouri is included in that. If you're watching, I'll do a heads-up video later on today once they issue a new outlook and I get the new model data coming in. But also tomorrow, there's some severe weather possibilities out in this area too, and we'll highlight all those right now. Here's the severe thunderstorm outlook for today, Tuesday. A moderate risk exists for Dodge, for just about Wichita, really, in that area. And then a level 3 enhanced risk from the Missouri-Kansas border back almost to Denver. A huge sort of kidney bean-shaped area here, very reminiscent of bowing line segments that kind of do this and surge like this. And so it's a pretty big deal with a large area of severe weather expected today. Just the green, the one, showing where that's possible, and also another area out here. Let's zoom in on this here and take a look. Wichita is included in this level 4 moderate risk area, just south of I-70, getting into northern Oklahoma, perhaps. And so that's a level 4 out of 5, and that's actually a pretty rare thing to have. Yeah, this part of June, really, it kind of grabs your attention. But the type of weather is not unusual for this time of year. So let me take a look at the tornado risk. And yeah, there is a 2% tornado risk for Topeka and Wichita and back to Dodge City. I'm sorry, that's a 5%, the brown, and then 2% surrounds that. That's the green area. And that there is a risk. So when these squall lines develop in the summer, often the low-level winds are not what they need to be for tornadoes. But these bowing segments can produce little micro vortices out ahead of them that get sucked up into the actual line and can spin up into tornadoes. These are actually more dangerous in a sense because they're not necessarily really strong, long-lived tornadoes per se. A lot of times they are not. Sometimes they are. But they are just buried in rain, and they can occur. Oftentimes these thunderstorm squall lines keep going into the nighttime hours. So that's the concern with these types of tornadoes, with this type of scenario. Nadocast does have a 5% risk from Joplin back to Topeka and including Wichita. So that's something to be taken seriously, I think. And again, for folks living in the Ozarks, this particular model will update late in the morning. So I'll take a look at it and give you a more detailed look here later on. And the CSU probability here backs up that tornado probability, but puts it into Kansas City a little bit more than the other models do. And then, as you might expect, the high wind probabilities are right here. This panel are very strong from northern and central Missouri all the way back to the panhandle of Oklahoma. Biggest hail probably should be when those storms initiate out in Kansas. And then we go to Wednesday, 3 out of 5 risk from just about Springfield through southern Illinois all the way up to southern Michigan. And again, that's just an idea that we have this developing area of showers and thunderstorms that will develop a squall line tomorrow. And again, that's Wednesday. The tornado risk is basically from south central Missouri up into that southern Michigan area, same as the severe weather risk, really. And that brown is a 5% area. And the CSU probabilities are very much matching what the SPC has for tornadoes, and are really, again, talking about a wind machine here developing. In fact, there are probabilities buried in there. They're hard to see, but right around Indianapolis, where that dot is, that's a 45% probability, pretty high. Then this whole weather system shifts to the east coast from Vermont and New Hampshire down to about Charlotte is a level 2, another area of unstable air, and the northern plains, a level 1 up there on Thursday. And if we look at CSU's probabilities, they are highest with the wind there from North Carolina up to around Philadelphia, and a little bit of tornado risk, kind of scattered possibilities up in New England. Now, beyond Thursday, the Storm Prediction Center does not have any official outlooks in there, what they call their day 4 through 8 probabilities, but that's why we look at these other ones. CSU is pretty hot on severe weather from Montana due east to Wisconsin and the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, with the epicenter there in northern Minnesota, where they had active tornadoes last night. And then on Saturday, same general area, and there's a theme building here. Basically, a ridge of high pressure is building in this area here with a big hot dome that's gradually beginning to shift east, and the jet stream is still pretty active here, so that's why the showers and thunderstorms are still going to be in the Dakotas and the extreme northern part of the U.S. And then on Sunday, some evidence that's going to try to break down a little bit. You can see the probabilities kind of sag into Kansas, with the hot air kind of spreading over here a little bit, and the epicenter right around Minneapolis. And then on Monday, that's a week from today, basically, from Wisconsin up into Canada is the severe weather risk. So the last panels I'll show you, I'm a little rushed this morning, to apologize for that. This is June 17th through June 23rd, and it kind of indicates this activity today, really, and tomorrow. And again, it's accumulation of supercell probabilities for a week for that period. And then the Northern Plains activity is certainly active. And then we go to the first week of July, the first through the, June 24th to June 30th. I jumped ahead. It's still kind of active in the Northern Plains, really active. In fact, not as far north as it was when I showed this to you last. So Nebraska, Iowa, Wisconsin, and Michigan really under the gun for severe weather. Then the first week of July, it kind of backs off. You can kind of see evidence of some cooler, drier air working its way into New England and the Northern Plains and the Great Lakes states, with the activity shifting focus from Oklahoma back into around the Cheyenne, Wyoming area. Thanks for watching today's edition of Severe Thunderstorm Outlooks. This is published every day after the morning Storm Prediction Center update. Also, remember to check that site off on day 1 because they update it fairly frequently. If you like this video, please like it. Also, you can subscribe to the channel for more content just like this.